Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinsel.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
and the regular season just got finished up for the NASCAR Cup Series. They went to Darlington. We saw a fantastic race. The Southern 500 always puts on a great show. But before we dig into all that, guys, let's start off with our diecast of the week. Tom, what'd you bring for us today, bud?
I got a special one. I won a an auction on a Goodwill site, and it finally came in the mail. So I have Dale's Last Win, with like a bunch of stuff ripped up on the side and everything too.
Oh,
So
sweet.
real fun. It came with a bunch of confetti and stuff with it too. It's not really a rare one. I looked it up, and there's like 100,000 of these made, but it's still a cool piece to have, and I thought I got a pretty good deal on it. So
Oh yeah, that
cool
orange
piece.
spoiler. It's
Yeah, this is just an
cool
iconic race car,
touch.
Good details on
Absolutely,
this
man.
one too.
Hell yeah, dude. I love it. All right, Nick, what'd you bring for us today?
So since I wasn't on with you guys last week for Darlington, I thought I would bust out this week. Daniel Hemmer's 2019 Caterpillar throwback that he ran at Darlington. Tried to look into this, and I guess they really just threw it back to the history of Caterpillar. A little retro look on it. Pretty good looking car. Probably fenced it, but
That's a cool scheme. I do like it. Like if you can't find the throwback paint scheme, they kind of do like some throwback to like the company. So
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And the cat paint schemes never really changed. They're just like yellow and black with the cat logo.
Yeah,
So it's kind of fun to do a non-throwback for that one, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so we're talking Atlanta. I thought I'd have to go with Tom with Dale Earnhardt this week. Dale Earnhardt's Atlanta 1996 Olympic car that he ran. Going to Atlanta, got to bust out this car with the good old red, white, and blue on there.
That was a time where special one-off paint schemes were actually special. I mean, that car had to be painted and sacrifice a
Yep.
body for that and everything. So that's a really cool piece to have.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's classic right there. Alrighty, guys. Well, let's get into our top stories. It was announced today that Brandon Jones is going back to Joe Gibbs Racing. We know that he was over there for a few years before he went over to Junior Motorsports, and now he's back. That Menards money really does work for him. This is another casualty of money over talent.
I thought this was interesting, paired with the comments that Sheldon Creed made post-race, where he gets out of the car and he says, "I didn't make a dime. I'm not making a dime this season. We're putting all our money towards." So like these guys are just paying out of pocket to try to get in the best equipment possible. And Brandon Jones was struggling with Joe Gibbs Racing. He had won a few races. Decides to take his money, decides to test the waters at JRM, had less performance. So go back to what was working, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure I like it. There's
Yeah.
conversations with people like him and Sheldon Creed, like they don't have enough consistency. If you're jumping around from team to team, you're not going to be able to build those relationships and build consistency. So I I guess it's better than him not going to another new team. At least he's going to be with familiar people, but it's just a strange one to me.
Especially with Toyota's kind of pipeline that they got. They could have gotten somebody else in that seat, I think, is more deserving of it, but it just goes back to the money. Brandon Jones, he can do this for as long as he wants, just as long as the checks keep going through, he's gonna keep doing this. So yeah, I don't really going back to what worked. We'll see.
Yeah. And like you were saying, there's a lot of guys who are more deserving to get this right. Like we've seen Ryan Truex get a couple wins already this season. Corey Heim could go into one of those cars. Someone with a little bit more talent, but that's the way that NASCAR
Money.
works nowadays is money, money, money.
Well, and you talk about the pipeline, I feel like some of these drivers don't really fall into like a Toyota or a manufacturer pipeline in general. They just want to pay to play. And if he can come out there and have success, like that's great. But is he really going to be considered as a prospect
I just
if he
I
keeps
don't get
jumping around and
what
participating like this?
yeah. I don't get what we continue like not getting any better. He's been really bad. He's on the verge of missing the playoffs in both of his years at JRM. And when that 9 car won how many races a couple years back? Like,
It's not the
it's a
same
bad look.
JRM though.
I
JRM ebbs
understand
and
that,
flows as any other team would.
Mm-hmm.
but come on, like he's brought nothing to
Yeah.
the table but his Menards checks, and I guess that's what works. It's not happening for him on the racetrack. I just think it's really embarrassing if you can go into a junior motorsports ride and can't put that in the playoffs with this Xfinity field. It's just I don't know. I think
And just
that's
constantly putting it into
yeah.
the junkyard.
Right. Well, NASCAR.com says that he's 132 short of the cut line, so he's in must-win territory
Yeah.
at this point. I will say a lot of a few of his wrecks, maybe not a lot of them, but like a lot of stuff he just gets sucked into. But there's also a point to be said that if you're running in the middle of the pack where all this shit happens, then you're gonna get caught. You're gonna get some shit on your face. So
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, you can say like, oh, those wrecks weren't his fault, but at the same time, where he qualifies and where his average running position is, that does matter in the season. And if you keep stacking up the DNFs, there's stuff you got to look at from that aspect too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we'll have to see how it works out for Brandon Jones going back to Joe Gibbs Racing. Maybe we'll see him go back to getting his one-off wins. He just comes out of nowhere because it hasn't come in this 9 car at all. It's been absolutely terrible.
Well, I mean, who knows what happens at Atlanta?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you just spoke it into existence. Now he's going to go
Who
win
knows?
Atlanta.
Who
Yep.
knows?
Yep. So, guys, let's look into this bad deal that NASCAR teams got from NASCAR for the charter agreement. We saw on Sunday that there was a 2311 executive with a piece of paper on his back that said, "Don't talk to me about the new
The
charter
part
agreement."
owner, this is
Oh
Curtis
yeah,
Polk. Like he's
yeah,
a big name in that aspect, and he's like, you can't say anything bad.
yeah.
So I don't have any. Mama says if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
So NASCAR might be screwing the pooch again with this terrible charter deal. I don't really know too much of the specifics of this charter deal. All I know is a lot of people are just upset, and it just sucks to see.
It does suck to see. It's just why do we need this? We have 36 cars show up to the racetrack every week. We're not even filling a full field every single week. We can talk about the charter system for as long as we want to. I just think it's a stupid thing when we're not even filling fields up completely. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well, you have this idea though that, and I wonder how as these talks have gone on, some teams like Front Row Motorsports, I hear they were gung ho about a deal months ago that was offered. And you wonder how 2311, new kid on the block, they come in, they have this NBA viewpoint of the world of sports. And you wonder how much the other teams are now kind of, they're annoyed, so to speak, with 2311 for pushing back on this and saying it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I have no doubt that the deal that NASCAR is offering is better than it used to be at this very moment. Because I mean, that's why you negotiate. You try to find some middle ground. But 2311 is coming in like a spoiled rich kid and saying like it's still not good enough, still not good enough. And it's like the NASCAR is not the NBA. So you just wonder how they're kind of spoiling the whole pot for everybody else at this point.
Yeah, but I don't know. We've seen some terrible ideas from NASCAR about this charter agreement, and I can't think it can get much better from what they're thinking.
I
So,
mean,
well,
like the stakes are so high with all of this. I mean, NASCAR is seeing some crazy expansion right now. I feel like it's growing in popularity. They're getting Netflix deals. They're starting to go international. Um, and they're trying to find this balance of growth, and the teams are going to want a part of that, obviously, because the teams are a huge part. And NASCAR wants to protect its brand, but NASCAR also needs to understand the fans don't care about the NASCAR brand. They care about the teams and the drivers. And if the teams and the drivers aren't happy, the fans aren't going to stick around. And if you block those people out and those groups out, the fans won't be there, and then your product's worth nothing. So I think you still got to try to give some more up for the teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're the ones that are bringing in the fans, just
Mhm.
like you said, man.
I
So,
don't watch the Southern 500 for Ben Kennedy, Stephen Phelps. Like, no. Who cares? Who cares what they have to say? As long
mhm.
as the product's there and on the track and producing what they've did like Sunday night, I'll be a happy fan all the time. And I'll keep telling my friends, I'll keep trying to bring more people into this just as a fan.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. So, well, speaking of which, let's get into Darlington from this past weekend. We kicked off with the Xfinity Series. We had a handful of Cup Series guys coming in here. Christopher Bell led from the pole, and we had a rough start for Parker Retzloff. Car shut down on pit road, had to throw out the caution real early for him. Just a real shame to see. Just bad luck after what happened at Daytona. He's just feeling the pain.
Let the conspiracy theories start.
RCR did it.
Oh man.
Somebody's in there just snipping wires.
Poor guy. Riley Herbst slammed the wall early in this race with a flat tire, so something he did not want to see. But Sam Mayer, how about him going toe to toe with Christopher Bell in the opening stage? That was pretty good to see. Kind of reminded me of when Briscoe and Kyle Busch were going at it years ago at Darlington.
The theme of the day was Christopher Bell's car falling off late in runs. Um, and frankly, they'd cut to those in-car shots of him all day towards the end of a long run, and he would be struggling with that thing. He'd feather the throttle, chopping at the wheel, and you just wonder if that was going to be a sustainable thing throughout the race. And we saw it with that battle early on with Sam Mayer.
Yeah, definitely. And we and Sam Mayer gets a left rear tire down,
Mm.
spun down on the apron.
Sick
Uh,
move, sick move.
yeah, it did a
Just full
360 and he just
360.
kept going, man. That was nice. And then of course we were just talking about him signing that new contract over at Joe Gibbs Racing. Brandon Jones does what he does best and spins. But it was after contact with our boy Shane Van Gisbergen, so SVG's
Ugh.
out there doing the Lord's work.
But again, that's what we talked about. I mean, he's in the way, and he's in the way, and Shane's out there learning, and it's just two guys that are just trying to figure out their stuff, run into each other. And if Brandon
Yeah,
Jones is running better, he's not back there with Shane
yeah,
at
exactly.
that moment in the race.
And Shane had a fantastic car this weekend, guys. He
Mm-hmm.
was flying through the field. I thought he was going to struggle here at Darlington, but he was doing so well out there. I was very, very surprised.
It's his second time at the track. I mean,
Yeah.
that's scary for I don't know if it's scary to the Cup Series guys, but it's definitely scary to the Xfinity Series. It's like, oh, this guy comes back a second time and is that much better.
hmm
Watch out.
Frenchie can drive. Alrighty, so Christopher Bell wins stage one. Sheldon Creed wins stage two. And we get a late race caution. Sheldon Creed was in the lead. It looked like
Oh,
he had this thing won. Sheldon Creed, they all come down pit road. Pit crew loses him 3 spots on pit road. Has to restart fourth. Just
after
absolutely
having two of the
blows away.
fastest stops during the day.
Yeah, so blows away his chance of winning this thing. And
Hmm.
Christopher Bell goes out there and wins the damn thing, and Sheldon Creed loses another one. This time wasn't second place, so it doesn't add on to the record. This was a third place finish. Uh, but
This
God
is
damn, like we I feel like we almost talk about this every week. Like Sheldon Creed,
He
I don't
talked
think
about it. He said
yeah.
he's run out of ways to lose him. And the caution comes out late. It's
this
ridiculous.
is poor
Man,
guy at this point. That was his like pit crew just fucked him, but
I fucked
part of
him,
the
man.
deal. They gave him two great stops early in the race, and they fumbled the bag in the last one. It's a team sport. You win as a team, lose as a team. This time it wasn't really Sheldon's doing, but my God, one of these times I mean, we're starting to run. I don't even know if it's going to happen anymore. If it wasn't meant to be on Saturday, when is it ever going to meant to be? It's going to be like Dale Earnhardt trying to win a fucking Daytona 500. That's what this is That's what this is turning into. He's finding the craziest ways to lose these. I'm just waiting for him to run into a bird, and then his engine's just going to expire like what happened to Dale.
Yeah,
It's
he's gonna
crazy at this
be
point.
leading a race and hit a shoe like Danica did. Like
Yeah.
he hasn't done that. There's an 11th way to finish second, Sheldon. But
Yeah,
no, Nick,
right.
you just compared Sheldon Creed to the Intimidator. Hell yeah. Sheldon Creed is the second coming of Dale.
Yeah.
Oh man.
20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Sheldon Creed has finally won an Xfinity
An
Series.
But no,
47 years old.
Yeah, 47-year-old Sheldon Creed has finally done it after 35 second place finishes. He finally did it because and the way he's going to do it is because the race is going to get called short due to rain, and he's going to be the leader. That's how it's going to happen. It's going to be a rain shortened race.
a Chris Buescher fog situation.
Yeah.
Like, well, we can't see the track, so I guess he can win. But no, we saw it again. Christopher Bell shot out of a cannon in stage 3, but then his car just didn't last on the long run, and Sheldon was managing his stuff, and he did a fantastic job. And again, we joke about it, but he's finishing second and third consistently.
He's
good.
He's good. He's good. He just doesn't have the points in the finishes. There's something, this, that, or the other happens. He doesn't have what it takes to end these races out. And it just breaks your heart. Again, he gets out of the car and he says, I'm not making a dime this year. I'm paying for this opportunity. And this sucks. Who knows? Yeah. We put all our money we had into this.
He's getting the Daniel Hemrick treatment right now.
Yeah. So champion Sheldon Creed, I guess. But it's yeah, you talk about these pay to play drivers, but they still want it. We think they just get in there and they get to sit in that car because of daddy's money, but like he still wants to be there, be competitive, and go win races. Nobody likes to lose, whether you're paying for the seat or they're paying you to sit in the seat.
Yeah, exactly, man. We know Sheldon Creed's a winner. Won an ARCA championship, won a Truck Series championship. And dude is one of the most consistent drivers in this series.
But it's not scaling up. It's not scaling up like he needs it to.
Damn, he just needs to find a way, but we shall see for this guy.
Well, if he may, I will just say this right now. If he's winless going into Phoenix and he's in the championship four, I am putting all my money on the 18 car. He's going to rewrite history. That's how he's going to do it,
man. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's move over to Sunday for the Cup Series race, the Southern 500. We had Bubba Wallace leading from the pole, his third career pole, so pretty cool to see. And Carson Hocevar starting second, so pretty wild to see. But right when they flew the green, Carson fell right back. All right, and then lap 2, Martin Truex Jr. gets out of shape. Gets loose and wrecks the 12 and himself. They're both pretty much done for the day. But man, oh man, that was scary because Truex plus 50 above the cut line.
He's fine.
Yeah, but he was shaking a little bit in his boots.
I was just saying he's fine. He's 50 away. All you got to do is finish this race and you're in.
Yep.
And lap 2. Talk about
rookie,
how. Yeah, you talk about the experience needed.
Like there was no need for
Darlington.
Yeah.
And the old man, the most senior guy.
Yeah, for real.
He goes, maybe he was making a veteran move. He did think he was fine. And he's like, no way I'm sitting in the sun and then doing a 5-hour Darlington race. Gonna crash out here and call it a day. I'm safe.
All right. I'm gonna go fishing.
He's people in the top row in the back. They're like, who's that over by the minnow pond?
Oh my God, that's Martin Truex Jr. He's still in his fire suit.
He's got his boat out there.
All right, so Kyle Larson wins stage 1, and poor old Tyler Reddick puking and shitting himself during the race. When he got out of the car, he said he didn't, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
when I was in Charlotte for the Coke 600, we were touring all the shops. We went to the premiere of Airspeed at 2311, and there was an employee standing in the corner. Me and my dad went and was chatting with him. He was an interior guy for the 45 car. I was thinking about a lot about that man. He says it's his job. It's his job to go in there, change out the seats, prep the cars up and whatnot. And yeah, he said he worked on Tyler's car.
On
So
top of that, just the heat.
shout out to that guy.
What a hot and humid day it was on Sunday. You got the
Mhm.
smell of puke and shit in there.
Oh.
Hey,
Can you
Tyler
imagine puking in a crash helmet? There's
Dude,
nowhere for it to go. You're
no,
tasting that for the rest of the night.
it's just there.
Tyler Reddick just wanted to get the Darlington stripe inside the car. That's all he wanted to do.
Ugh.
What do you think about Martin Truex though? Because they were like, Martin Truex would be the guy to step in if Reddick can't get in there. If I'm Truex, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not getting in that car where he's just shitting there. You guys, hell no.
My brother joked. He was like, why don't they just put Michael Jordan in the car? And it's like, Michael Jordan is literally twice the size of Tyler Reddick. I don't even think he would remotely fit in the seat. But I mean, if that was a possibility, maybe they did ask Martin if he was available, and Martin's like, I don't think I could fit in there.
Right?
It's not as
small.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tyler's
I
too
think
small, and he had to ride it out. And honestly, it was an amazing perforance.
Yeah,
all the way
it won
through.
him the
Flu
regular
game.
season championship, man.
NASCAR
He might.
Chasm's meme of Bob's tweets was so funny. He's like, he's shitting himself. He feels fucking horrible. He has won the regular season championship.
That's his own version of the Michael Jordan flu
Yeah,
game right
with
there. It was the
MJ
Tyler Reddick
himself on
flu
the hood.
race. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, he probably came on the radio. It's like, brother, I know your fucking pain, man. It ain't fun.
Did you eat bad pizza in Salt Lake City too? Yeah, so for Tyler Reddick, that was
What a guy.
I mean,
that
it was,
sucks.
but it was a major storyline. You're like the guy who's leading in points right now is sick. Who
Yeah,
knows
like
how
that-
it'll affect his performance? Is some random stomach bug going to ruin his chance at 15 playoff points
right?
and a big trophy?
right, very true, man.
What an
It-
awful way. What an
Yeah,
awful
it's
way
fun to joke
live and
about,
to
but
lose a regular season
Mhm.
championship because you shit yourself.
yeah, yeah, literally shit the bed.
Oh
So
man.
Kyle Larson wins stage 2. And then we get old Chris Buescher getting sick of old Toddy boy, Todd Gilliland. Todd kind of put Chris Buescher in the wall, and Buescher got pissed off and just spun him out. So that's what you get, you Long John Silver eating bitch.
I don't I don't want to put that so much on Chris Buescher. I mean, those cars get loose and you get squeezed against the wall. You got to get off the wall. Yeah, and I think he was truly just trying to catch his car.
Yeah, I think he
Chris
just bounced
Buescher
off
doesn't
the
race
wall.
like that. Like, I don't know.
I think something this year just opened up something inside of him after he got walled by Tyler Reddick.
Talk about a guy with bad luck. Are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
Chris Buescher had so many opportunities to win and get more points, and he'd get wrecked out of here, there, and
0.001 seconds separates Chris
We
Buescher
can't-
from
yeah,
the
I-
goddamn playoffs, dude.
Well, it's just that Kyle Busch too, Atlanta.
Yeah,
Like, both of those
0.003
guys
seconds
could've-
for him.
Both those guys could have fucking been in, but it
Yeah,
just didn't go their way.
Blaney runs out of gas
Yeah.
in St. Louis, and that gives you a new winner. I mean, all these
yeah.
things, all these things. 5 overtimes in Nashville. Joey Logano doesn't make the playoffs if that
Yeah.
doesn't go 5 overtimes. So there's so many little moments that you can point back. So and again, that's why you talk about Kyle Larson in the regular season championship. He missed it by 1 point. That's just one position on the track over 25 races. You can't just point to the Coke 600 and say, "Oh, he didn't run that race, so if he did it, he would have won." Well, obviously, yes, but there's so many places to lose 1 point. We talk all the time about how Kyle Larson wrecks out of races before way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
That you'll gain a point there, easy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, so 3 wide, we got Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs. Denny Hamlin kind of slides up on him, puts the 4 into the 54, and those 2 wreck.
That was an idiotic move by the 4 is what I'm calling that. You're trying to pinch it 3 wide in the turn at Darlington. That's just never good. He just tried to force his way through there. Unfortunate. I mean, he was in a spot where he had to go and get as many spots as he could go get. So I understand it, but that was never going to work.
No, it's just a rookie mistake. He'll learn from that. It's only his second Darlington race too, and the Cup cars. All right, and then how about old Chase Briscoe making some moves out there, leading this way and holding off Kyle Busch to win at Darlington and win his way into the playoffs. Pretty damn cool story for Briscoe. I mean, I said it earlier. This was even reminiscent of 4 years ago at Darlington with Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch. I was like, oh man, we get to see this battle once again. It was just so cool just to see them do it again. But Tom, so close yet again, dude. 3 weeks in a row, your guy has been so close to getting a damn win, and he doesn't even make it into the playoffs here at the end. My
If
God.
if this is the performance that RCR can put out, where was this for the other 23 races?
Mm-hmm.
Where, I mean, we kind of saw hints of it towards the end of the summer. He's running close at the end of the Brickyard. He's the car was starting to find some speed.
He got fourth at Michigan.
Exactly. Fourth at Michigan. He was trying to get a top five at Indy. I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, 3 weeks in a row, he was so close to making the playoffs, but you don't have this conversation if this car has this speed from the beginning of the year. I mean, I sat there in the stands at Texas and watched him struggle to pass Rick Rail racing cars in the 30s. Just stage one, he just comes by around, not making any ground, not making any ground. You're not going to make the playoffs. You have to expect to win, and you could not have expected Kyle Busch to win in these cars in the first 3 quarters of the regular season. And so to put him in desperation, yeah, it's one thing to put Kyle Busch on the offensive, but you also dug them a hole in the first place. And my heart and my brain cannot handle the roller coaster these past few weeks have been for Kyle. To be so close and to get that opportunity. Those NBC did a fantastic job showing that battle, just staying on the Kyle's roof cam the whole time. And I'm standing there watching the race and watching it play out. I'm yelling at my team. I'm like, come on, don't play with me. Don't do this. And again, for those who don't know, I'm working as these races are happening. So I'm sitting there at 1 a.m. watching it. I've turned off all my social media. I don't know what's going to happen, which is kind of fun in the aspect right after the race ends, you get to see all the people's instant reactions over the past couple of days. But I'm sitting there. I know the race is already over, and I'm yelling. I was like, don't play with me. This doesn't happen, right? Like, come on. And no, it wasn't meant to be. But I'm kind of numb to it from the standpoint of like, this is the performance we should have been having all season long. And then maybe one or two of those you end up in victory lane. This doesn't matter. So yeah, it sucks to get this close, but this whole season as a whole, this is a missed more, I think, than finishing second at Darlington on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, definitely just a whole.
How about that for Chase Briscoe though? What a move he made to put himself into the race lead, and then he held him off on a restart. So he was fast all day, and really, this has been a really good season for Chase Briscoe. He's been there. He's top 20 in points, and now he gets rewarded with this win. He's going to the playoffs. He was up front almost all day long, so it's not like he just kind of backed himself into this one. He had a good car, and he took advantage of the opportunity presented to him. He made a badass move, and he made it stick, and now he's going to the playoffs.
We had the potential of maybe somebody less deserving to win this race. Not that winning the Southern, if you win the Southern 500, you win the Southern 500. It's not that you don't deserve it. But like we had with how the tire strategies and do we pit, do we not pit, was working out. We could have the potential of somebody who wasn't up there the whole day. But no, you're right. Chase Briscoe was up there the whole day. Top 5 finishes on the season, and 2 of them were at Darlington. So he's going to come to play at this track, and he did what he had to do and made it work. So this is not a Harrison Burton fluky win. This car had potential to win, and I think the happiest person in the building should be Joe Gibbs.
Okay.
that he's getting a driver of that
Yeah,
caliber.
he was one of the first ones in victory lane. I saw the video
Hmm.
of it to congratulate him. He said
Hmm.
we're going to see a lot more of this next year. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very
Oh yeah.
excited to see what Chase Briscoe is going to bring to the Gibbs organization next year. He's doing this in Stewart Haas racing cars that are shutting
Hmm.
down here in a couple months. So I'm
Right.
I'm
I
excited.
mean, they're saying SHR
Huge.
is losing access to Ford information and whatnot, and they're losing employees to this, that, and the other. Like this is a fledgling of what it used to be just a few years ago.
They're already
And
losing sponsors too, like full-time sponsors from this year. Like
exactly,
Sunny D dropped out. They're not with Josh Berry anymore.
exactly. So like for Chase Briscoe to be able to win in this car at this point in the season, it's huge. And
Hmm.
Joe Gibbs got a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
um, to keep Johnny Morris with him and to keep Chase Briscoe or bring Chase Briscoe in. Um, I think it's a great move. I think that'll be one of the biggest offseason signings we've seen in a
Oh,
while.
without a doubt. But after this race concluded, our playoff picture is set. Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, some of those top contenders, they did not make it into the playoffs. Our 16 drivers, we got Larson, Bell, Reddick, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Keselowski, Logano, Cindric, Suarez, Bowman. Then outside the bubble, we got Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton, Ty Gibbs, and Martin Truex Jr. So got a stacked playoff lineup. We also got some guys we kind of expect to be out a little early that don't run so much with these big boys. This week we are going to be setting up a bracket and we're going to be posting it on Twitter before Sunday's race. And then next week we're going to be dissecting it on the show. But guys, who do you think is going to kind of be kind of your dark horse for these playoffs here? Because I'm kind of thinking what Nick was saying. I'm Chase Briscoe's been pretty damn good this year. I really do think that he could make a
I
deep
mean,
playoff run.
shit,
I mean,
he
he
made
made.
the round of 8 2 years ago. So, and that's when
Hmm.
they weren't even that good. So they can just string a couple good runs together here. Why not? Yeah,
I mean, if there's a time to get streaky, now's the time. So if you can build on the momentum of this win, sure. I just don't think it happens. I don't think Stuart Haas has the consistency. And as we get further along into the season and closer to the end, that's also closer to the end of these people's jobs and whatnot. So like, will the quality, even at the level that it's at right now, will it continue and be able to continue through the playoffs? I do think we see those other three Stuart Haas cars go way down in performance because they're going to take whatever they can and put it towards that 14 car.
Yep. It's gonna be rough to be a Noah fan for the next few months. Just gonna have to hold on in there. But
I guess for me, another dark horse I would kind of put up there. I don't know if we're putting him as a dark horse. I think Ty Gibbs, he's below the cut line right now. I think he has potential to go out and have a pretty solid playoff run. I mean, the speed's been there, the finishes have been there for him. This is going to be a little tricky first round. I mean, it's just all about surviving Atlanta. Like this first race
Mhm.
at being at Atlanta, being the type of race that it is, with how close that these points are. Like we were talking about before the show, Kyle Larson's only 35 points for the good right now. If he gets in an early crash at Atlanta, and now he's sitting way the hell down there. So it's just all going to be about surviving Atlanta, I think. And but yeah, if I'm looking at one guy, I would look at car number 54 as the guy who could make a pretty impressive run these playoffs as a dark horse category.
This is one of the closest spreads we've kind of seen
Yeah.
in the playoff era, at least that I can remember. I mean, like I don't think Joey Logano thinks he's safe. Like, yes,
no.
you have Harrison Burton and Chase Briscoe and Daniel Suarez and Austin Cindric in this playoff. They aren't consistently running towards the top at all these races. Yet, again, Atlanta being the start of this, at least they have 2 races to recover after that. But it's Watkins Glen and Bristol. So how
Yeah.
much recovery can you really do? How much leg up? But you look at people like Alex Bowman, Daniel Suarez could show up at Watkins Glen and legitimately win at those racetracks. Um, so I guess you list those 4, kind of the last 4 that limped their way into the playoffs. Um, they're still, I don't think they're guaranteed. Besides Harrison Burton, I don't think anybody's guaranteed to be out of this first round.
Yeah. Well.
And then you have Talladega in the second round. So
Yeah.
Harrison Burton wins at Atlanta, wins at Talladega. That's a
Perfect.
round of 8, baby.
Oh my God! From dead last in
Yep.
points to the round at 8. Could
Yep.
you imagine?
Jeff, your little boy has done it. He is a
Yeah.
champion.
I
What?
I don't even want to think that into
That'll
existence.
be the day I stop watching
I was
NASCAR.
gonna
Is
say
when
if
some
Harrison Burton,
jackass like that just
Mm-hmm.
wins his way into each and every round, then wins the champion. That'll be the day. But oh my God, it's
There'd
possible.
be a January 6th style insurrection on the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, dude, I'll be right there in Charlotte, man.
People like storm the Hall of Fame, rip all Harrison Burton's off the wall. Like he's not my champion.
Imagine trying to defend that. Imagine trying to defend that. This guy's fucking dead last in points, wins a lucky ass race at Daytona, and then he just fucking wins a title. Oh my God.
Well, defend
Oh.
this for me. Defend this for me. Our regular season champion, Tyler Reddick, is the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Does that make sense at all?
No.
So no. I mean, that's the thing.
Okay, yeah, those are just the playoff points. So
Are
Kyle
these
Larson,
just playoff points?
I
Are
think.
these? I mean, this
No,
is
I think this is
the
for real.
playoff points is the seeding, right?
Yeah, that's your seeding right there. Yeah, so this is for real right now.
Yeah.
These are the actual points. Like Larson's 35 to the good,
because they
Bell
reset the points.
27, Reddick 23. So really, look at what those 15 points just did for Tyler Reddick right there. He'd only have 8 points right now. He'd be sitting in the 7th, 8th bracket right now. But now he's up to 3rd because of that.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
Reddick
insane.
3 wins or 3 stage wins and 2 race wins. He'd have more than 8. How is this done? Who made this list?
Wait. Because how does this make sense?
Sorry, 15 and 15 8 is 23.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, no. How does this work? Who did this?
Wait, so he has 28.
Is the website wrong? Because he should have 3 stage points for stage wins, and then he should have 10 points for 2 race wins.
That's 13.
That's
plus,
13
he should have
and
28.
15.
Yeah. I
It
think
says
something's
he has.
wrong.
The website, the NASCAR website, is woefully reliable, as we know. I don't know. It's something to think about, though. Like your regular season champion is not the number 1 seed. But again, anything can happen to any of these guys.
Yeah.
These are just 3 totally different racetracks in round 1. We go from a super speedway 1.5 miles at Atlanta to the road course at the Glen and then to Bristol. Like, this is good luck to these guys because literally minus Harrison Burton, any of these guys have a chance to move on to the next round.
Well, let's talk about Hendrick Motorsports for a second. I saw a stat post by Trey Ryan on Twitter I sent to you guys, but Kyle Larson led 263 laps at Darlington this weekend. On the season, William Byron has 259 laps led. Chase Elliott has 213 laps led, and Bowman has 14 laps led. So Kyle Larson this weekend led more laps than the rest of his teammates combined over the season. Is Hendrick struggling? Is Hendrick Motorsports struggling? Kyle Larson, yes, we know he's always up front. But where's William Byron been since the beginning of the season?
I was going to say, minus Kyle Larson, really the rest of them have just kind of not really been there. Byron got up to such a hot start, and then he just kind of faded.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be the year of William Byron with the way he started out.
Chase Elliott got that one win at Texas.
One win at Texas. He hasn't really been up contended for wins. And then
Chase Elliott is just crazy consistent.
Yeah, he's a consistent top 10 driver.
Crazy consistent, quietly consistent. You never see him lurking there, and then you look at the pylon at the end of the race. Oh, it's 7th, 5th, 3rd, 7th, 8th. Like, he's just there. He's just there picking up those points. But
that'll get him
that
so
stat
far.
Kind of dumbfounded me because Kyle Larson has led over 1,000 laps this season, and his teammates are at what 600? Not even that combined for the rest of them. That's nuts. And I think, like, if William Byron, where has he been recently? Could he end up in a wreck at Atlanta and then suddenly be out of it?
What was Byron's last one? Was that Martinsville?
Way back in May. I think it was Martinsville. I don't see some bullshit one. He's usually good for one or two of those.
Yeah.
I'm looking back. Martinsville, April 7th. Denny Hamlin hasn't won a race since April.
Really?
Denny Hamlin won Dover on April 28th.
Holy shit.
So, yeah, these guys that are supposed to be the top of the board, most consistent guys, they haven't shown up lately. So we'll see if they can turn it on in the playoffs, figure it out. Hendrick and Gibbs and Penske have all their cars in the playoffs, and then a bunch of other teams only have one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. And you talked to us at Darlington, the spring Darlington, before spring Darlington, Ford had not won a race yet. And then you tell us after fall Darlington that Ford would have the most cars in the playoffs. We'd be laughing you off the stage.
Yeah.
It's going to be really dynamic playoffs. To watch. This first round is going to be kind of
This
wacky.
first round is just going to be crazy.
I think this is going to be one of the craziest playoffs we'll ever see, because honestly, this has probably already been the craziest season that we've seen.
It's been a nuts season.
There's been a lot of shit going on this year, a lot of craziness, and it's not even over yet.
Yeah, that's the silly season, the race finishes, I mean, all that.
Yeah.
And you wonder, though, depending on how this first season goes, are fans going to get wise to the entertainment aspect of this? Are they going to be like, is it worth it? If you lose your best contenders due to flukiness in the first round, how do you justify that to your fans? And we're talking hypotheticals here.
I don't think at this point NASCAR doesn't give a shit about that. I really don't.
No.
If we're moving Talladega into the round of 8, that to me says that they do not care.
But again, Talladega in the round of 8 is safer than Atlanta in the round of 16 for those 8 cars. You'd think.
Me and Tom were talking about on the show last week. Talladega in the round of 8 makes more sense than it being in the round of 12, because you get more of your drivers who are more deserving in the round of 8 at that point, and then they're already going to race their way in somehow and just win it at Talladega. So Harrison Burton's not going to be in the round of 8.
Yeah, next year Harrison Burton wins in the round of 8, he's not in the playoffs. Yeah. But Harrison Burton very well could these drafting tracks and win at Atlanta and get into the round of 12. And who does he knock out? That is your 34th place points car in the regular season, knocking out somebody who could have legitimately had a chance at winning the championship.
Yeah.
Just from the aspect, I mean, who knows what happens at Watkins Glen? I mean, you're going to have to be consistent and whatnot, but you could see a late race caution, and you know how Watkins Glen is at turn 1. And then Bristol, we see a lot of those lower tier teams can show up and run well at Bristol. And will we have a fluky tire like we had in the spring at Bristol? This round has so many questions to answer, and there's only one way to find out, and that's wait for these races.
Yep. It is going to be wild, guys. Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be making our picks for Atlanta this weekend, so stay tuned. right, guys, welcome back. We are going to be making our predictions for Atlanta this weekend. We got the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series both running here this weekend at the Mile and a Half Super Speedway. Kicking off with the Xfinity Series, we got the Focused Health 250, 250 miles, 163 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 40 laps each, and the final will be 83 laps. Previous winners here, we had Nemechek winning here last year, and Austin Hill won here in the spring this season. Two notables we got in this one. Taylor Gray will be back in the 19, and Ryan Truex will be in the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. So, Nick, we'll kick it off to you. Who is your winner for Saturday in Atlanta Motor Speedway?
I hate to be that guy, but I gotta. It feels like it's been too long since old 21 Austin Hill's gone to victory lane on Super Speedway. In fact, back at Atlanta back here in the spring. He went to victory lane, so he's pretty much an easy pick when you come to this place. He's got this place figured out pretty well. Anytime you go to Super Speedway, you look for car 21 to be up front, and I don't think it'll be any different on Saturday. So yeah. Give me Austin Hill to get a win right before their playoffs get kicked off in a couple weeks.
Smart pick. That's all I gotta say. I don't like it, but that's smart.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Again, the thing that goes against Austin Hill is that he's so good at tracks like this. People don't want to work with him anymore. They're like, if he's gonna win this race, he's gonna have to put it on his own back and get it done. So we'll see how that all goes down. But honestly, still an excellent pick.
Exactly. All right, Tom, who you got for Saturday, bud?
I'm feeling Saturday is a JRM kind of day, but it's not the one you're thinking of. And it's not the one that I'm not thinking of that you don't think I'm thinking of. It's the one you're actually not thinking of, and it's Sammy Smith.
What
Does
am I
that make
thinking
sense? You're not. No, I'm not going with Brandon Jones. He can go.
I thought that's where you were
win
going for a second.
Win for Joe Gibbs next year, but Sammy Smith, I think they can do it. I think we're going to see a Junior Motorsports Super Speedway where they don't crash each other.
Yeah, he's been kind of on the
Tough luck.
bench the whole season. Haven't really
Mhm.
seen much of him at all,
And he
would
needs
be a
the win.
nice little would be a nice little surprise to see him in victory lane because God, he only go to victory lane once, right? When he was with Joe Gibbs
Yeah,
last year.
Phoenix.
He won
Phoenix,
Phoenix
so-
early.
Yeah, we all thought he was going to be something in this year. I don't know, like him and JRM have just been tanking.
Another shout out to NASCAR.com scoring, which has Sammy Smith sitting in the 11th seed, 10 points above the cut line, and Parker Kligerman sitting in the 12th seed, 44 points above the cut line. Good job, NASCAR.com.
Yeah,
that's how numbers work. But Sammy Smith is that close to the cut line and could use the victory to show that he's safe.
Isn't he out right now?
He's in.
He's in.
Should be 12th.
Okay.
But I'm not.
I thought after last
I'm
week
not
for
sure.
some reason
Yeah.
he was out.
Ryan Sieg is the first one out. Brandon Jones is then the next one out, but Brandon Jones is 132 points away. Brandon Jones needs the win. Ryan Sieg stays out of trouble in Atlanta, could be looking at himself inside the cut
he's
line.
good.
Yeah.
He's good at these kind of places.
Mm-hmm.
He's
but
just got
if
to
Sammy
keep
Smith
the car
wins,
clean.
it makes Ryan Sieg's job a lot harder to point his way into the playoffs. So I would expect Sammy Smith to be aggressive, go out and try to be in front of all the chaos and lead and win this race.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I gotta go with the guy who's in the 20 car this weekend, Mr. Ryan Truex. We saw him win a few weeks ago here at Daytona with him getting his third career Xfinity Series win. And this guy's just been on a roll lately. We all just got news of one more full-time Joe Gibbs racing driver, and his name was not Ryan Truex. So maybe he wants to go out there and prove himself and show everybody why he belongs here full-time. So going with Mr. Ryan Truex Jr., as a lot of people like to call him. Alrighty,
The
boys.
problem with Ryan is that he's got those Toyota generic sponsorships. He's got the GR sponsorship on there today.
He's a real
the Go
one.
Ryan sponsorship, as he likes to call it. But again, Brandon Jones says, "Hey, I'll bring Menards back to you guys if you give me a ride." Ryan Truex says, "I'll bring me, myself, and I if you want to give me a ride." And of course, Joe Gibbs is going to go with Menards money. So
yeah, it's a damn shame that's the way NASCAR is nowadays. But need money to play the game.
Yep.
Alrighty, guys, so let's move over to Sunday for the Quaker State 400 for the Cup Series, 400 miles, 260 laps. Stage one is 60, and the final two stages will be 100 laps each. The previous winners that we've had here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, William Byron won here last year, and Daniel Suarez won here in the spring by a 3 wide photo finish. We all saw it. Absolutely incredible. So we will make our picks for this Sunday race. Nick, who are you going to go for on Sunday for the Cup Series?
Oh, you just mentioned the 3 wide photo finish here back in the spring, and the guy who was on the wrong side of that was the 12th car, Ryan Blaney. So I just think with Blaney coming in here, he's coming in as the 5th seed in the playoff. So this is good. He's really good at these kind of racetracks, and I think he wants to get a little revenge, a little kind of redeem himself a little bit from the heartbreak that came in the spring. Give me car number 12 to kick off the playoffs with a win, and he will punch his ticket into the round of 12.
You hope he is healthy.
Yeah,
with the wreck he had at Darlington.
That's true.
And also not having all those laps at Darlington, he could probably use a good finish.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Tom, who you got winning on Sunday?
I have no clue. We saw kind of a crazy random race in the spring here at Atlanta. So I thought, let's go to a random number generator, put in 1 to 100, and it spit out 51. So I'm going with Justin Haley. And I'll double down on this. If Justin Haley wins this race, I'll buy the diecast, and it will be my diecast of the week every race for the next year.
Oh man,
because I'll be like, remember when I called that Justin? It'll get really old. But if Daniel Suarez can win in the closest margin of victory to that point ever, why can't Justin Haley? I mean, he was good here with Colleague. He's a stout racer. He gets better finishes out of these cars. It's kind of fun actually to do it this way. You get a number and then you have to make a point as to why you think they can win. But he makes those cars finish better than they were. I mean, we saw Cody Ware put in a top 5 finish at Daytona. I mean, yeah, a lot had to go wrong for a lot of other people to make it happen. But Justin Haley wants to put his car up front and thinks that these Rick Ware cars can do it. And if you have a driver that excited about a race car, why can't he go out and win?
Yeah, exactly. The kid
Other
can
than that,
wheel
he's
those
Justin
cars.
Haley. But that's the number that Google gave me, so I'm going to go with it. Justin Haley will win, and I'll be out like $120.
Alrighty, well, for my pick for Sunday, I gotta go with one of the other guys that was the bridesmaid at Atlanta Motor Speedway earlier this spring, Mr. Kyle Busch. We know that he is not in the playoffs, but I gotta say, I think that's better for him. No pressure on him. He's gonna go into this thing and do what he can. RCR has been getting faster and faster, or Kyle Busch has just been getting faster and faster. Whatever's been working for this team, they gotta make it work for this weekend because Kyle Busch wants that 20th year in a row check mark for victories. I know that would be huge for him. That would be huge for NASCAR. And I know me as a guy who doesn't even like Kyle Busch, I would still like to see him get that 20th check mark.
It's cool to see history like that, but cruel, 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 cruel world if Kyle Busch wins this race.
It's also one of the reasons why I was like, man, it'd be pretty funny if he won this thing.
It's setting up for one of those guys, Chris Buescher, a Bubba Wallace, or a Kyle Busch to go out and win this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kyle Busch has the luck, if any luck hang on to him from Daytona when he seemed to be in every one of those wrecks and without a scratch on his car, I mean, that's kind of what you need to win a race like this. So if he can find his way through a lot of the chaos, see what happens.
It might just work, Tom. Could go to victory lane this weekend, but we've been saying that all the year, so
yeah, unfortunately, it'd be sad. I mean, I'd be ecstatic. You won't hear me hear the end of it, but I'll still be sad.
Yeah.
Internally.
Very, very bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you got to deal with nowadays with an RCR driver.
Yep.
Well, guys, I think that about wraps up about everything we want to talk about. You guys got anything else to add before we close up the show?
It's gonna be chaos. Like this is I don't know what to expect in this. Like we can have more than half of the playoff drivers wadded up in a wreck on lap 12, and then they're all going to the Glen thinking, "What the hell are we gonna do now?" It's just the craziness that this kind of this kind of track puts on, and this is what they want. Like for this being the first race of the playoff, this is gonna be nuts. Like it's gonna be absolutely nuts.
Man.
I hope NASCAR does okay officiating this race because we could have. I remember this Atlanta race. We had William Byron and Mike McDowell stopped at the entrance of pit road during green flag pit stops, nose to the wall, and they didn't throw a caution because it was going to ruin strategy. Which was bold of NASCAR. But now you're going to come in. You're affecting finishing positions more so in the playoffs here. Do they make the same decision if we see something like that again? It'll be interesting to watch how NASCAR plays a role in all this as well.
Yeah, we will have to see. I know me and Nick will not be able to watch the race live on Sunday. We will be at Soldier Field for the home opener. Hopefully,
We should get home right at the start of the race. The race isn't until like 5 or 6, I don't think. So.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, it's a night race.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, never.
Congratulations.
Wait.
Come home from a Bears game and get cheered up after a sad loss.
No,
a fun NASCAR race.
It says it's 2:00 on Sunday.
Huh.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was a night race.
No, that's what it was last year when it was like in July.
Fuck, man. I really thought this was a night race or something.
Yeah. Well,
3 p.m. Eastern.
We're going to be missing it.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, join the club.
Yep.
You guys can
can
do a night in my shoes.
Yeah, right.
I'll get our heart broken again by the Chicago Bears.
My recommendation is to pause your Twitter, your Instagrams, your YouTubes.
Yeah. I know the drill.
So notifications don't show up and spoil it if you don't want it to be spoiled.
Yep.
But somehow figure out how to check in for your fan rewards points.
Yeah, right. and my fantasy too. Oh Lord.
I could afford to take a week off. I'm good.
Yeah, screw you, buddy. It's playoff time now.
Come and get me.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for tuning into the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and check out all of our links down below in the description. So we'll see you next time for the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinzel.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
We'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Atlanta.